Hey everybody, welcome back into the Mosh Pit, and we're talking about Scorn. And we got Pulse Monthly 2.0 came out. It's the monthly update that the new community manager has decided to put out on a monthly basis for Scorn. This one was posted back on January 20th, 2022. I wasn't available to see that it had come out. I didn't see a tweet about it or anything, but I went looking for it thinking it's got to be an update. They said they're going to be doing monthly, and here we go. Pulse Monthly 2.0. This time we're talking about sound. There's no denying the importance that sound plays in setting a tone for a visceral horror experience. When done right, it can slowly work its way under your skin to make hairs on the back of your neck stand up, creating a soundscape that builds tension and leaves you feeling dread and anxiety long after you've stepped away from the screen. It is no easy feat. And they have a small sample of sounds. This isn't just like some soundtrack or some of Foley or something like that. It's a mix of all that stuff. So you've got monster sounds and people being hurt sounds, walking and running sounds, some background music a little bit. Kind of a catch-all of everything that we might hear in Scorn. Just a small little less than 2-minute piece. I'll link this article and this video here in the description below. So if you're interested in reading this or listening to these sounds, go ahead and click those and take a look. Now here it says, to create the audio experience truly captured in the essence of Scorn, Ebb Software enlisted the help of two incredibly talented composers. First one is Athek. It's Adis Kutkut, Bosnian. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Bosnian sound designer, music producer, and DJ. Who blurs the lines between sci-fi and reality and his dark industrial sounds. And then also this guy Lustmord, who they did an interview with here, named Brian Williams. Both of these linked to Twitter, those Twitter accounts for those people if you want to check them out. Lustmord is a Welsh-born industrial musician with decades of experience creating ritualistic primordial sounds you can feel in your core. Credited with being the father of dark ambient genre. Oh, that's interesting. He also has done work with motion pictures, music collabs with the Melvins and with Tool, which makes sense. Tool likes to do some dark stuff, and I could see some of their sounds being collabed with this guy after hearing this sound clip. The interview segment here called Spill Your Guts that they have every month is by the community manager interviews somebody on the team, and they're interviewing Lustmord here, the composer, and talks a little bit about what his process is and some of the things that they've had struggles with. Also has a picture of his studio. You can see his wall here. I don't know if this is an eyeball or if that's a webcam there, but you can tell he's got some scales on the wall. Back in here, he's running a Mac to do his audio processing work on. I know my audio setup's a little bit wanting compared to his here, but yeah, I understand some of this equipment. I found it interesting here. The second question they asked is, how did your collaboration with Ebb Software begin? When I first became aware of the game, I reached out to Ebb as it seemed like something I really should be involved with, and I was pleased to hear they were familiar with my work. The first contact started a discussion and continues to this day, which is pretty interesting because, a lot of times you see a project, I guess this guy being the father of ambient genre, and has also worked with Tool and the Melvins and in pictures, he has a little bit of a background to be able to come to a composer and be like, hey, I think I should work on your game, which, sometimes that would be received poorly. Or, if you say, you might know my work from this and this, your game looks amazing, I really like to be a part of it. And that team's like, wow, he reached out to us. Similar thing happened with No Man's Sky. They were listening to 65 Days of Static while they were making their game. And they said, this music would really go well with that. I wonder if we could get them. And just as a whim, they reached out to 65 Days of Static and said, hey, can we work with you? Are you interested in something like this? And they were like, yeah, actually we are. So, sometimes collaborations can happen. You just got to shoot your shot, as it were. One of the questions they also asked is, what is the central theme surrounding the music and sound layers of Scorn? And he says the music explores wonder, emptiness, and loss, along with a sense of why, which I think why might be a big question, because I think just from some of the previews I've seen of the gameplay footage is a lot of people are asking, what the hell is this game? Why is he doing that? Where is he? What is this guy? Because his mouth's not really covered. It's kind of like a webbed over with skin. And what the shit is this world? So why is probably a pretty good sentiment to get across with music and the ambient soundtrack that he's doing for this game. Now, one of these questions says Dragoslav, the sound designer, and I don't know if that is the sound designer asking the question or if they are also asking multiple people. I thought that the interview was with this Lusmord guy, but it's... Oh, I see. Here in the very beginning, we also spoke with Dragoslav Ostajic, the sound designer. Okay, so they did... This Dragoslav is the sound designer. So they asked him a separate question, which is, could you walk us through the process of going from concept to in-game audio? And he said a lot of that process is trial and error. With Scorn, we never wanted to hinder creativity with strict guidelines of what the world sounds like. Instead, we treat it as an ever-evolving organic process, which makes sense. They're in an organic world. They won't, all this stuff is so otherworldly. Who knows what it would sound like? And it's possible they might happen upon something while they're troubleshooting or messing around or recording and going, you know what? That actually sounds pretty good like that. There are 4 primary means of expression through audio: dialogue, music, ambience, and sound effects, all of which further divide into more specific terms. We had several things to consider while creating sound, but 2 main categories stand out. The physical, things like the size of the location, materials, movable parts, specific purpose, e.g. debris and part of a contraption, usable items or purpose, character, NPC movement, weight, height, body composition, lots more. And then the emotion, what should be conveyed as the first impression of the room, its general vibe, how and what the player should feel inside it, and lots of other nuanced bits of are important for setting the mood, which is pretty awesome. You think about it, if you're playing a game, especially if you're wearing headphones that are really good and you can really get some of that sound involvement going on, like if you're just listening to it through some crappy speakers on your computer or something like that, it might not be the effect that they could design because your speakers just can't portray that. But if you're listening with like some really good 3D audio headphones or something like that, and you have a room that has a lot of echo to it, and you're stepping on wet ground and then you're stepping on a cemented ground or something like that, and the change in different parts of audio, when a game, for me at least, when a game takes the time to really map out the different areas that you're walking on, one really bizarre example of this is Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing has such a great sound design for just running. So when you're running around outside, no matter what surface you're on, it always sounds different on every surface. And you go inside the museum, strange comparison to making a Scorn video, but still, you go into the museum and all the different parts of the museum have different sounds based on the area you're in. So it's awesome that they're putting that much effort into sound, because I think when you think about a game's gameplay, that's like the first thing. Gameplay, is the gameplay good? Yes. Story and sound are probably the very next thing, and they're so combined that if you don't have good story and you don't have good sound, the gameplay could be all good, but it could just fall super flat because you don't have that feeling. Same with like a game like Returnal. That the audio in that made that game for me. I mean, really, the gameplay's fun. The story was real weird, but man, the audio was so amazing that you just really felt like you were there, and everything felt like it hit perfectly. So this makes me excited. The next thing is they asked, what techniques have you used to create the sounds of Scorn? The team did a lot of epic recording sessions involving destruction of all sorts of things. So there's smashing and breaking all kinds of stuff. Vegetables, wood, bark, cardboard, chairs, pipes, meat, bones. They broke a bunch of chicken bones and some spare ribs. They ate some ribs and then they cracked the bone. Who knows? Stones, you name it. They probably obliterated it. So a lot of destruction around microphones happened. Maybe they got one of those destruction rooms where they smashed a bunch of stuff. A really interesting one there is meat. What? Probably smacking meat, maybe? I don't know. Meat has a really, depending on the meat, has a really unique sound to it, And then they asked, how do you translate biomechanical elements of Scorn into audio? We started by exploring the kind of sounds you'd find in medieval siege weaponry, but with a highly sophisticated and organic twist. We imagined complex mechanical contraptions as if powered by hydraulic systems filled with organic fluids. So like a piss cannon, maybe. I don't know. Pockets of trapped air, internal lever positions, and snapping components. Ratchets, hooking systems, tissue strains, muscle contractions, and gravity, all while under immense stress, without anything sounding too precise or smooth. I don't know about you, but all that stuff sounds gross and awesome. I love I love games that can be gross and awesome at the same time. Bring it on. Can't wait for this game. Who knows when it's going to be out, but I'm really excited for it, Also, there's a small bit of information here. It doesn't really tell you much other than if you were part of the Kickstarter, this is probably one of the tiers of the Kickstarter, was that you were going to get the vinyl. Well, they're showing you what the vinyl is going to look like. This is the outside cover, and this is the inside cover. Pretty nice, very Giger-esque. There's your main character. Like I said, he has no mouth. The eyes, I think, in the game are like glowing. They're not on the cover here, but it's very skin-like. Yeah, two album set, looks like. But it says, if you missed out on reserving the vinyl soundtrack during our Kickstarter campaign, I might have some exciting news to share soon. So it's possible that they might have more like a limited repressing of this album for anybody that might be interested in buying it. It sounds like with the people that are involved, it might be right up my alley. I'm hoping that this soundtrack is also available as something you can buy digitally, or if you buy the album, it comes with a digital set of files. I've had that a few different times where you buy like a CD or a tape or something like that at a show, and it comes with a code that you can go down to download the actual MP3s to your system. And lastly, we have a development update from the CEO of Ebb Software. I'm not going to try to even pronounce his first name, but Mr. Peckler here said December was filled with a lot of planning and organization before the end of the year. Our team's planning, scheduling, and organization is crucial, but that's especially true for this final 25%. Without proper planning, nothing will line up how it should. And part of that planning, arguably the most challenging part, is ensuring we maintain the overall vision of Scorn while carefully considering things like balance and other refinements. We're aiming to finalize everything by the end of June, and then we'll move into the final phase of production with optimizations, squashing bugs, and adding polish. That's it for the January update. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that little kind of wrap up. If you want to read this article in full, I will put a description below. I'm excited for Scorn. As always, every time I hear a little bit more about it or see a little bit more footage, the game makes me excited. I don't know. They were trying to get the last 25% done by June. So I guess we'll see in summertime how it looks. If it comes out this year, I will be surprised. I feel I don't know why. For some reason, I don't know. They're putting out all these updates, so maybe they're close. They're 25% mark, but there's just a lot happening this year, and it just feels like this game needs a little bit more time to really get it right. If they're thinking about June as the time when they're going to be done and then start doing the bugs. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think Scorn's going to come out this year? Let's get a bet going. And we'll all kind of see where we're at. Gentleman's bet. And I will end this video by playing the sounds of Scorn so you can hear what the sounds they have, and then you can go check it out on your own if you want, and maybe put it in your audio collection. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.